Yo, family, what is good? Welcome back again to another daily live stream. A lot earlier today, I know, but unfortunately, I'm going to be busy later on today in my life, so I had to do one a little bit earlier. But be that as it may, we have got some very important updates to get through, and once more, this is playing out as we had anticipated. The government in the United States is currently partially shut down. We had anticipated a market pullback off the back of this news, and in regards to Kaspa right now, currently down 5.79% on the daily time frame, valued at 0.0352 or 3.52 cents. Of course, FUD is setting in quite strong right now. Many projects across the board are down quite significantly. Bitcoin to 82,000 at the bottom of the support zone right here. We could see Bitcoin continue this downtrend over the weekend. ETH almost down to 2.5k, XRP $1.67, and Solana 114. In regards to Kaspa right now, of course, it's not ideal. We have got some updates to get through the market sentiment, what's happening right now. And equally, some very important Kaspa updates, some new confirmation that stablecoins are coming and Igor Labs are popping off, long and short of it, alongside some other stuff as well. But just in regards to Kaspa right now, those who tuned into yesterday's live stream and those who are part of the Discord server, and of course the VIP, you would have seen the short trade that Lambo had set up that we are getting into on Kaspa, where the entry for that was at 0.0405, to which if we go even closer, we can see that was pretty much the exact top called when the trade was put in on the 26th. And the exit, the take profit zone, was at the top of this resistance band here, support band here at 0.059 or 0.06 or 0.36. And as I load it up right now, we look at the profits, we can see that that trade did fully fill. So that's sort of the trading and stuff that we're doing in the VIP. If you want to find out more links down below in the description, where we're looking at the markets, getting ahead of the markets and making gains off that as well. So a nice little 3x or so short in Kaspa, which is very nice. And we'll see where the markets go in the short term. Right now, we're waiting to see ultimately how Monday pans out, because we're under the interpretation, of course, that we'll see continued negative price action over this weekend, as we now are officially in a partial shutdown. So this also means the likes of the SEC, one of the agencies, due to a lapse in appropriations and government shutdown, the SEC is currently operating in accordance with the agency's plan for operating during a shutdown, effective Jan 31st, 2026, so today, and until further notice, the agency will have a very limited number of staff members available. The SEC has staff available to respond to emergency situations with a focus on market integrity and investor protection. Our plans call for the continuing operation of certain commission systems, including EDGAR, so on and so forth. But that's just one agency of many, of course, that are currently either operating at a lesser efficiency or even completely shut down. Workers will be on furlough until the shutdown has come to an end. And we spoke about this yesterday. I also gave a rundown. I put a whole rundown that in my VIP and even reposted that to the free Discord server as well, so we understand exactly what is happening and what we should expect, which the Coin Bureau made a post about that as well, talking about now we are in a government shutdown after the House failed to vote on the funding for the DHS. Lawmakers may fix it when they reconvene on Monday, or they may not. That's why Monday is so important, just because there's been seemingly confirmation or word of mouth that the Dems and the Republicans were going to agree on Monday. Until it happens, there's no confirmation right now. We're in a partial government shutdown. Monday will decide whether markets go up or whether they go back down. If we get the confirmation, great. If not, we'll have to wait and see. Because it happened over the weekend, markets had no chance to react, unless you are, of course, in crypto, where markets are 24/7 in crypto, so they did react indeed. Reaction now comes Monday morning. Until then, markets open with headline risk, where traders will be watching at the opening. Futures reaction at open, volatility spikes from policy uncertainty, risk assets pricing a longer shutdown, rotation into treasuries and safe havens, missing economic data creating macro blind spots. This is ultimately what's happening in the markets right now. Right now, risk on the investors are not so convinced, given the general uncertainty in this market. They're not so convinced that the shutdown is only going to be for the weekend. Maybe it's longer. God forbid it's not, of course. God forbid it's not. If it is, then, we'll be getting some more short trades, most definitely, as we see more headwinds in the market. Bitcoin very well retracing back to 80k. if not maybe even a bit lower to the other zones we put down here as well, around 78, 77k, down to 74k as well. Of course, we'll talk about that more if the situation unfolds. But right now, investors are anticipating continued headwinds. You don't see safe havens like gold and silver reacting right now because the markets are closed. With the markets open on Monday, you may see a sharp increase in these assets. Although the reason they came down is because of the announcement of the new Fed chair. Walsh, who is typically perceived as very, very hawkish, someone who wants to have a strong American economy, which is not how I perceive it's going to be planning out this time round. But because that's how investors perceive that, they thought, okay, well then dollar is stronger to hold right now than safe havens. As you look at the DYX, you can see dollar is showing a lot of strength right now, up to almost 97.5 again. If you can fill that gap, that would potentially be a reassuring sign, but I'm not so convinced it will do so. We'll have to wait and see. It does ultimately surround the developments of this government shutdown. We should talk about more throughout the stream, but because of this shutdown as well, we have seen other unnerving announcements where the Chicago's Metropolitan Central Bank and Trust has been closed by Illinois regulators due to unsafe conditions and weak capital cited. This is the first bank failure of 2026, and we are 1 month in. If the government shutdown does extend beyond Monday, there's a possibility you see more. And of course, that wouldn't be ideal either. So this does mean now the receivership has gone to the FDIC. We can see it here. Failed bank information for Metropolitan Capital Trust and Banking Trust, Chicago, Illinois. On Friday, January 30th, 2026, Metropolitan Bank and Trust was closed by the Illinois Department of Finance and Professional Regulations. The FDIC was named receiver. No advance notice is given to the public when a financial institution is closed. First Independence Bank, Detroit, MI assumed substantially all the deposit accounts and substantially all the assets. All shares or stocks were owned by the holding company, which was not involved in these transactions. So that's also added more uncertainty and FUD to the markets. Not that I need to spell it out for you watching again, but uncertainty always breeds negative price action. Government shutdown, people are not going to be happy about that. They're going to be uncertain how the market's going to behave, if you've got a strong economy or not. If the government's shutting down, they're worried about that. There's also the risk of data going missing. We saw that back in the October shutdown, where even to this day, all the macroeconomic data that was happening in October, we have not received that, and we probably never will. We missed October. We went from September to November. We missed a whole month. If we end up getting an extended shutdown, it probably won't happen again. So ideally, we do see the shutdown end on Monday. So it'll be a little blip, a kind of a liquidation event again, and then we can start hopefully stacking and DCAing again. If not, you see more downside, and you, of course, want to try and capitalize on that downward price action. The longer the shutdown, more safe havens will be deemed as a necessity. Your gold and silver will likely start rallying again. Risk assets will go down more so, and so on and so forth. Historically, short shutdowns rarely crash markets, which, if it is ending on Monday, the markets will recover. Of course, it's in a bit of a liquidation in crypto right now. But again, that's 24/7 markets, so it's understandable there. But shutdowns do increase uncertainty, and markets hate uncertainty more than bad news. Because this shutdown began while liquidity was thin, price discovery was delayed, not avoided. Monday is when the bill comes due. Washington may be closed again, but markets are never. So we got that. We got a bank shutdown. This is official. This is confirmation. This is not ideal. Is this the end of a potential bull market? I'm still not so convinced, because these are, of course, negative, kind of, well, they are political. It's geopolitical. It's still geopolitical tensions. Geopolitics does not always mean across borders. It can even still mean infighting. Dems versus Republicans, that's still a geopolitical issue. It's a political issue, and this government shutdown is a political issue. This is proof that politics has very well reached significantly into our financial markets. I hate talking about politics. I know you lot probably hate me talking about it as well. We want to talk about finance, about Kaspa. But unfortunately, to become a more well-rounded trader, a more successful investor and trader, you need to understand politics, and more so, what the political news means to investor sentiment. You may love Trump, you may hate Trump. I don't care, personally. But I understand the general population are not very pleased with Trump right now. because despite the fact that, you know, S&P 500 at, you know, nearing all-time highs, people don't feel rich. Unless you're a billionaire, already has a lot of money, people don't feel rich, so people aren't happy right now with Trump. And that investor sentiment, therefore, means that what Trump says will have impacts on the market. That is ultimately what it means. You've got to understand that if you're trying to trade and make money in this market. Government shutdown's not ideal. A disagreement with the funding to DHS, which funds ICE and the border control. We'll see if on Monday they reconvene and they accept the new negotiations and the new guidelines, if you will. And if they do, you'll probably see a little bit of a bounce, maybe consolidation to the sideways again. And that will probably prevent more banks shutting down in the immediate short term. If this government shutdown does not get concluded on Monday, how long it goes on for is anybody's guess. I don't imagine it'll be as long as what happened in October. Hopefully not. 40 days or so shutdown, the longest in history. But if we see the shutdown extend furthermore, you could end up seeing more banks shutting down, more headwinds, Bitcoin coming back more and more and more. There could be a spell or a sign for a bear market, or to think on something more hopium case, if you really feel like you need that, you might see a repeat of what happened here. This was in and around the whole FTX crash, that black swan. You know, all the situation that happened around here. You saw a 55% correction in Bitcoin due to all the uncertainty. The peak in March, April, 55% pullback, so they're making a double top later on. Difference was that you had QE earlier on, so you already had a lot of money starting to be injected into the economy. We've only just started that now. And you won't see full QE probably until the new Fed chair comes in all honesty. Hopefully, Walsh would do that. But right now, if we look at Bitcoin, we are currently down about 35%. Yeah, 35% from all-time highs. Coming back to this critical zone of 74K would be a 4% pullback, which is definitely possible. 55% to repeat what we saw in 2021, whereas put us back down at 56K, which is a possibility. It does still very much depend on the midterms. Definitely. Right now in these markets, of course, I've got my holders in Kaspa and some other assets. I'm not putting too much in right now. I'm holding quite a few stables, and I'm using that stables to trade. You know, like the gains that I showed at the beginning of the stream that we're making when, you know, analyzing the markets, getting ahead of the game, making short trades with Kaspa. We've got short trades going on with Bitcoin and other assets as well that we're looking into. So you can look at all of that as well. And we can make gains through this market. Of course, do your own research, but you can find out more on the VIP. Links are down below in the description. There's still money to be made, of course. And then once we find that floor, that bottom, then we can start DCAing and preparing for that capital rotation from risk off to rotation to risk on to altcoins booming, which will hopefully happen 2026 around midterms with the new Fed chair, around regulatory frameworks, policies for crypto coming out, being more aligned and confirmed. We have got, as I showcased already, confirmation from the likes of PwC that's going to be happening in June 2026 in Europe. So, and we also showcased in the video that I posted yesterday, there was a clip that I showed from my VIP, which was from Standard Chartered, Gregory Kendrick, I believe his name is, from Standard Chartered Bank, who confirmed that in Q2 or Q3 in the middle of 2026, a big bank's going to come in and other banks are going to follow in after that. You know, so we've got a post here from Kryptoni. Damn, that is props to you. Massive stuff there. Kryptoni opened a 50x short on XRP, up 463%, currently up 850 USDT. Insane stuff. Keep that up, my man. That is an insane short. Yeah. I mean, frankly speaking, I'm trying to do the math in my head right now. If we had done a 50x short on Kaspa, it would probably be similarly that high. It's currently at 200% on a 20x short that filled in. If it was a 50x short, yeah, it'll probably be about 400, not 500 plus. So, I mean, yeah, but yeah, that's insane. That's a great call. Of course, you are very much anticipating the market correction, as we all were, as we talk about in these streams. And we have proven that you can still make money despite this sentiment. Of course, to just make sure you have the clear trend. Of course, only go in when you're safe. But yeah, it's definitely the early stream. Very, very early stream right now. But better having an early stream than having no stream, right? And yes, I'm currently down 60% on Kaspa. Yeah, I'll be honest, most people holding Kaspa right now are down significantly, especially as we now are at the lowest we have been, ignoring this flash crash at the lowest we have been since September 2023. So yeah, it's not ideal by any means, but this is not an indicative representation of Kaspa being bad. It's not my belief, because Kaspa's not going through it. When you think Kaspa's doing bad, people say bad 4 years. No, not bad 4 years, bad 2 years, to be more correct. And even then, people are like, oh, Kaspa's done bad 2 years. Yeah, shoot. Kaspa just corrected 6 months earlier. That's literally all it's been. If you look at all the other assets, they made their peak in and around January or December. So Kaspa peaked here. Kaspa peaked around here. And then it had another rally up here, and then it came down. Every other asset pretty much in this space has equally had a rally where it made a peak of sorts in December. I mean, AVAX had a massive peak actually in March, but you had that peak in December. Look at Ondu, similarly, had a peak. I'm on Binance's chart. I need to get on a different Ondu chart, honestly. Ondu USDT. Let's go on the Bybit one. Yeah, again, you saw, and that one actually was also a bit earlier. But even then, Ondu peaked in December. So pretty much all the major assets you look at had a peak in price in December 2024, and it's been downhill since then. Kaspa just did it 6 months earlier. This is not indicative of Kaspa being a bad asset. It's Kaspa just correcting a little bit ahead of the trend. And it's followed the exact same market trend. I had so many comments earlier, actually, funnily enough, that I was going through YouTube, where people just, of course, hating on Kaspa, fudding, saying it's a terrible investment, yada yada. And I'm like, don't get me wrong, the price is terrible, so you're valid to be having those thoughts, by all means, definitely. But you've got to understand the general market trend. If you are expecting Kaspa to perform well right now, you need to do more research. If you are upset at Kaspa's done bad in the last 4 years, your perspective may be slightly conditioned one way or the other, because in actuality, Kaspa's done bad since July, August 2024. So about about a year and a half in actuality, a year and a half. We've had a year and a half of downward price action. Every other asset has had a year. Kaspa only started correcting 6 months earlier, but everything has corrected in the same fashion as Kaspa. They're all down significantly. And in saying that, most assets are down from their starting value. Kaspa's still up, albeit not as much now. It's toying with that $1 billion market cap. In fact, it's lost it. But it's still up 18,000% from launch, Whereas most assets are either up a little bit, just slightly less, or even they're down from their launch. I'm not discrediting the negative price action and bad news of Kaspa right now, of course, but try not to be emotional and think logically, which also means looking at it from different point of views. Kaspa's done badly. Was everything else done as badly? Worse? Yes. Okay. So it's not Kaspa being bad. It's the markets not supporting a risk-on environment. Hence why Kaspa's underperformed. That's literally what it's come down to. And there are many concerns with Kaspa, as there are with many other projects right now, due to the price. But when the risk-on environment returns, I think that as with the strongest foundation will be the one to make the strongest comebacks. And Kaspa, for me, has the strongest foundation in its space, given the updates we're going to go through in a very short moment. But yeah, government shutdown right now, not ideal. We'll see where it goes from here. Hopefully Monday it'll be concluded. If not, you might see more banks shutting down. You'll see more headwinds. And of course, if you want to find out more, get ahead of the games and in prediction and ahead of the market trends, check out the BIP and we'll be on point with the current trajectory of the market and trading and making gains off the market sentiment right now. One thing also very interesting is why I also believe Kaspa will do well, right? And it comes down to this post here. Visa and MasterCard, the two biggest payment companies, they state now that stablecoins are not ready. Interesting. Why? Visa and MasterCard say stablecoins lack product market fit for everyday payments, especially in developed markets. They're testing blockchain rails, but see crypto as mostly trading, not a consumer threat. So they don't see that stablecoins can currently be utilized properly for everyday payments, and they're testing blockchain rails to find out ways to which they can do. Without saying it out loud to me, it just sounds like MasterCard and Visa are saying the blockchain infrastructure that we have currently looked into can't handle everyday payments because they bottleneck. That's how I interpret what's been said here. They're not product market fit. They can't handle everyday payments. The current leading infrastructure for stablecoins would be Tron, Ethereum, you could argue Solana, you could argue Sui, these other layer ones, but they bottleneck. They can't handle that. Kaspa's the only one with the infrastructure that can't handle that. We haven't got proof of that just yet, but that's changing soon. I'm going to replay this video here, a podcast, the very first Blockchain Better podcast that we did with Kaspa and Ashton, where they confirmed stablecoins are going to be coming. And we're going to go through this, knowing Kaspa already posted this about USDC stablecoins, already seemingly in the works on Kaspa. And in fact, I believe I got I need to put it up on my other monitor just in case. Don't want to leak all my private messages. But I saw a message from Kaspa as well. When it loads, if it loads. There you go. Let me just copy. I'm going to save the image actually. PC's being slow. I apologize. I should have had it preloaded. I'll just save it here. Okay, and then bosh. There. As you can see, Casplex, Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, USDC. So it looks like with Casplex, there does seem to be an ability to bridge to Ethereum and Binance Smart Chain with USDC. That's what's going to be coming through. So that is huge. So we have got confirmation of that. So let's listen to the video which we got in advance. So the confirmation and alpha we had, weeks in advance of what was going to come. It came to fruition, which is huge. It's also the benefit of the stuff we do on this channel and the Blockchain Better community. Listen very closely here to this clip from the Blockchain Better Live.
Again, we had a lot of meetings with the stablecoin issuers. This is work in progress. This is I see daily updates from our colleagues testing and doing different stuff. Again, I'm not going to be very specific about this, but I would say yes, Q1 2026 should definitely have stables on Kaspa.
Oh my God!
Via Casplex, and again, I cannot say if it's going to be native or bridged because I don't want to break any NDA, right? So Jay, yeah, this is work in progress, and this is going to be released in terms of updates to everyone as soon as we can and are allowed to. And of course, once this is being signed off and agreed, you'll see marketing campaigns, you'll see promotion from both sides, the normal stuff when a new partnership is being agreed and signed and approved by both parties.
We talked a little bit about stablecoins, and I was in a meeting today where we're bringing together 4 or 5 different projects to help support bridging any tokens, really, but stables included onto Igra, so that hopefully we can see those live at mainnet launch in just a few weeks.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
I'm going to stop it there again because that is a very funny, inappropriate South Park clip that Pumps put in. Shout out to Jer. Yeah, I did hear the notification sound coming through. I made sure to stop that as soon as I could. Of course, this whole post I made is on my Twitter account. You can go find it. Quick Crypto with the 1 and the 0 replacing the I and the 0 and the O. That's my Twitter there. But yeah, we heard that from the Blockchain Banter space back almost a month ago now, actually. Back here, 3 weeks ago now almost, with Ashton and Kaspa confirming stablecoins are coming. We saw the confirmation of stablecoins in the address here, and I just showcased the image of how it should be able to bridge to Ethereum and Binance Smart Chain, which is fantastic news. And then we have just got this announcement here. Igra Labs Association signs with Hyperlane alongside Kaspa Core ecosystem partners Cascade, Zealoswap, Kaspa.com, and KAT, which means USDC.E, USDT.E, and Wrapped ETH.E will be coming to Igra at launch via Hyperlane Bridge. So it is bridged stablecoins, but it is bridged Circle, bridged Tether, and bridged wrapped ETH that is going to be coming to Igra Labs at mainnet launch, which means, as we are anticipating right now, sometime March, probably the end of March, we'll be seeing stablecoins bridged coming on top of Kaspa. So you've got Casplex stablecoins, and you also now have Igra stablecoins are coming. And we go back to this post here. Visa and MasterCard suggest they believe that stablecoins lack product market fit for everyday payments. The blockchain infrastructures are not able to handle everyday payments. They bottleneck, they are not scalable enough, they're not decentralized enough, they're not quick enough. Whatever the reasoning is, they don't think they will work, especially in developed markets. Kaspa was created for everyday people. If you think Bitcoin is too expensive, it's for the elites, fine. Kaspa is meant to be for everybody. From the ground up, everybody. Cheaper, faster, more affordable. That's what Kaspa was intended to be. Right now, you're hearing Visa and MasterCard are testing blockchain rails to find one that will fit. Kaspa is so small, realistically speaking, that it may not be on their radar just yet, but you've got KRI talking to certain entities and banks. They're utilizing Kaspa through Warp Core. With these stablecoin upgrades, you'll start seeing further proof of concept, POC, to these payment companies that Kaspa is the ideal chain for it. Faster, cheaper, more decentralized, stronger, everything better than Tron, than Ethereum, than Solana, than all the chains. This could be the proof of concept needed, and that could then correlate to more investments. It's not a price pumper. I say it every stream because I still get the comments about Kaspa's price is bad, and either they don't hear this part or they just don't listen. Stablecoin the Kaspa's huge. It's not a price pumper. It might do a little bit, but it's not going to send its price to the moon. But it gives it proof of concept, a foundation, those roots that Wolfie was talking about. It will give Kaspa more roots, so when the volatility comes back and the risk on sentiment comes back, there's a stronger growth, stronger foundation built. So you can see KAT talking about it here, a major leap for Kaspa's next chapter, officially signing with Hyperlane alongside Kaspa core ecosystem teams. This marks a huge infrastructure milestone for Kaspa and its expanding execution layers, multiple other stablecoins and wrapped Ethereum coming to Igra at launch, which means that the Ethereum gains native access to widely used assets, a deeper liquidity potential, and a serious foundation for sustainable DeFi activity. That is huge, huge news. Capcom says the very same thing. This Hyperlane, as you can see here, opening interoperability across 180 plus chains. So this means that Kaspa is now expanding to over 180 blockchains through Hyperlane, through Igra, which is huge. Now, of course, they're not the same thing. Igra is built onto a Kaspa, but it's still a very big thing to bring more adoption to Igra, which could inherently benefit Kaspa as well, especially if users end up realizing the finality speed, the cost of transactions, how better it is on Kaspa. Why else? And of course, if we start seeing consistent capital flows and volume through this development, through these stablecoins, that also helps the biggest concern for Kaspa right now, which is the hash rate and the mining rewards. It subsides the miners. It brings more volume, more transactions, more value back to the project. Not a price pumper, but it's a foundation block to lead to price appreciation over time. In other news, also you've got Wolfie. I'm a Wolfie holder. I love Wolfie. I think they've got a lot going for them. And they're also expanding. They've got a bar in London. They've got another one coming in South Africa in Q1 2026, which is also very, very huge. So, I mean, I love Wolfie. In fact, I think there's actually a meeting going on for them right now, which I'm unable to attend, which is sad. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Either way, Wolfie are expanding as well. So I think Wolfie doing big jobs there, big stuff there. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. But this is further proof of how big this first quarter is going to be. Price-wise, maybe not. We still got all this here. If you want to care about the price of Kaspa or price of crypto, in all honesty, join the VIP or even the Discord server. Come check out these communities that we have built together. Or if you don't want to go through that way, if you want to try and do it by yourself, that's perfectly fine. You should do your own research anyways. But understand macro trends, and more so geopolitical trends. Understand them, learn about them, understand how they impact the markets. That's what's going to pump or dump your markets right now. If Kaspa got Binance right here and now, would it cause a pump? Probably. Would it be a pump and dump? Definitely. Because the markets right now do not support this gone. If Kaspa got OKX, Binance, and Coinbase, would it be huge? Definitely. You see a colossal pump. Markets don't want to be in crypto right now. So it would be a pump and a dump. It would create a solid foundation for when the markets do return to risk on again. Then Kaspa will pump even higher because it's got all the big exchanges. If you ask me about, are exchanges big for Kaspa? Yes. Will they cause a price pump? Yes. If you asked me that 5-6 months ago, it would be more or less, especially Binance and Coinbase, would just be, or would it be a pump and be a pump? Maybe a small pullback, but it'd be a pump. We are in such a massive FUD risk-off environment right now that even if you got all the 3 big exchanges, it would be a pump and dump. Because nobody wants to be in risk on right now. Government shutdown, banks closing down, geopolitical tension with Greenland, with Iran, all these midterm elections coming through, all this FUD. No one wants to be in anything that's remotely risky. That's why gold and silver went on such a historic run in such a short time. It had a massive pullback recently, but that's why. That's ultimately why. Will this sentiment change this year? It's a possibility, and not even a small one. There's a lot of factors to take into account that could change this, and it can. And we'll be talking about it and providing updates frequently, borderline daily in the VIP. We're going to be having our executive roundtable with the VIPs tomorrow, breaking down what we've seen in the market so far, what to expect next week, what the institutional analysis is saying as well, about where we're going to be going in the coming months. Also going to be very, very important. Kaspa just had a massive shock down right now, down 10%, which is insane. Absolutely insane. And that's because we lost this critical, all the people who were trying to hold at 3.6 at the critical zone, we lost that. So now Kaspa is just blowing down. It's collapsing. It's over 10%. It's a crash right now. Many, many assets right now are going down because Bitcoin's also losing its strength as well. We started this stream with Bitcoin around here, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, we started this stream today around here, the bottom of the support zone here. Now, in the span of 45 minutes, 30 minutes, Bitcoin's come down to the support zone here. Crypto's crashing. Investors are now realizing the impact of a government shutdown, be it partial or not. The government shutdown, banks closing down, FUD is growing. Bitcoin could hopefully find support at 82, 81k. If not, 80k on the cards. Right now we are at where we bottomed out down here. We bottomed out here. Sorry, I meant all the way back here. I want the 15 minutes to go back to the daily. We're approaching the bottom out we saw back here, back in November. You can very well see it come back down to that again. If we do, that it could, in my personal belief, I think we can see Bitcoin reach 80k over this weekend. It's a possibility right now. And then the market will probably hold 80k, being a critical zone, and see how the verdict comes on Monday. If we get the end of a government shutdown, we'll probably see a bit of a bounce back up to maybe maybe up to 81, 82, 83k. I don't think it'll be a massive pump necessarily, but you'll see a bit of a bounce. If we don't get a conclusion in this government shutdown and it continues, you might see us lose that. You might see us come back down to the 70s again. And then we have to have another conversation about bull or bear cycle, when the recovery is coming through, and yada, yada, yada. And whether it's worthwhile DCAing right now. Of course, we'll talk about it. But this is just the current trends of times right now, what's happening. And all the stuff you're seeing here for Kaspa, they're fantastic developments. And for other crypto assets you may be looking to, they're fantastic. They won't pump the price. But they'll mean that when the price does recover, when the market sentiment flips, the project will have a stronger foundation to start building off and then start rallying with it. Stablecoins will be a huge, huge one. More layer 2s, more infrastructure will be huge. We've been seeing so much development recently in regards to the RTD element of Kaspa. You know, we saw this yesterday. Also having an R&D right now. Developments towards VPROG, towards the DAGNITE, towards the Python SDK. You know, it's ZK verification. There's so much going on right now. So many people are building right now. Which is a great, great sign, where most projects right now are probably just trying to file for IPOs and not doing much, or just trying to pay their VCs to keep the price somewhat afloat. Kaspa's still building. Still building. funding rate is positive too, so I'm getting paid to hold this short. Fantastic, Kryptoni. Those who are tuning in, Kryptoni posted this in our community. He put in a short on XRP at $1.83 and 50x short, and it's currently printing right now, so shout out to you. And those who also are not aware, we currently had a short trade in Kaspa that we spoke about on stream, that our trader that we onboarded, Lambo, he put in a trade for Kaspa, as we can see here, at 0.0405, 20x short on Kaspa. That was the higher end of the risk that we wanted to take, and it filled in. When Kaspa hit 0.036, 221. If you did a 50x like Kryptoni, it would be a 500% plus. Of course, that's the level of risk that you're willing to take or not. It's up to you, but sort of trades we're doing the VIP as well. If you want to find out more, despite the market trends being terrible, making gains in this market even now. If you want to find out more, come check out the VIP. Got a 7-day free trial you can join for. Equally a 1-month free trial through BYDFI. Signing through BYDFI will get you discount on the trades we do in there through my affiliate link. And also get your 1-month free trial if you follow the steps in our free Discord server. As you can see here, get VIP access. You'd get 15% first deposit cashback, 70% discounts on future trading fees. And equally, you get a 1-month free trial if you sign up through these steps here. And let me know, I'll give you the access. But people who have been a part of it have been happy with it so far. And we're going to continue bringing more knowledge and information and insight to what's happening in this space, trying to make gains during such turbulent times in the market. With the blockchain banter, with Wolfie telling about rapid blocks for Binance and stuff, do you think Binance just isn't interested in Kaspa? I think Binance has no reason to be interested in Kaspa right now because markets are bad. But we've heard about it from Wolfie that OKX and Binance have both got Kaspa integrated into their wallet, so they can, whenever they want to, flip the switch and issue Kaspa spot trading. But they're not doing it right now. Reasons unbeknownst to us, because the market's bad, so it's not worthwhile, because they're threatened by Kaspa. There's so many conspiracies we could talk about as to why. So many. We don't know, unfortunately. I don't think it's a case that Binance won't list Kaspa. I think it's more so a case that, I mean, in the last 2 years, there were amples of opportunities to where Kaspa could have been listed by Binance. If you think about 2 years, 2 Christmases ago, you're talking about 2023 December. So you're talking about here then. Binance was ready around here. So, you know, we could see all of this. All of this could have been a Binance listing, but it didn't happen. So maybe they're waiting for this downtrend to happen now. And then they'll list Kaspa at the very bottom when the market starts to change. Who knows? But I don't think Binance aren't interested in Kaspa. I just think they have no reason to list it. But definitely not right now, especially. Build it and they will come. 100%. Tim, 100%. As long as you continue building, that will correlate to long-term success. More often than not. There have been some very unique cases where building has not correlated to adoption and it's just fallen off. But we've seen the belief in Kaspa and the adoption it's got. You've got much as you don't see it so much in price right now, you see the enterprises who have already taken note of Kaspa, DI Desert Energy. You've got exchanges like HTX and Kraken and these other ones who have also listed Kaspa, so they also have some belief in the project. You've heard Nick Szabo calling the block DAC promising technology. You've seen many other intellectual minds who have, I mean, think about the fact that most of crypto right now, Ethereum, Polygon, Cardano, all these projects and these founders have spoke about the interesting technology that is the Phantom protocol, the Ghost protocol, the Spectre protocol, which is the development and works of Tom Polinsky and those who have built Kaspa's architecture. Kaspa has all the makings to be a fantastic project. It's just a matter of being patient for it. But there is a lot of development right now coming for Kaspa. So much. This first month has been jam-packed full of information. It's just a shame that the geopolitical tensions has weighed in so much on the markets that it's not actually correlated to price movement. That's the problem. Once the tensions subside, then you'll see the price come back. But right now, it's not happening. You know, Bitcoin is crumbling right now. 81k, very well coming up to 80k. You know, it's XRP is down to 162, which I remember Kryptoni mentioning was meant to be. Oh, there you go. Just speaking about it, yeah, that was meant to be. Kryptoni spoke about that being his take profit down here, and I said it's very possible yesterday, and it did hit. Unsurprisingly, nice, well done, brother. Ethereum down to 2.5. Solana down to 109. Kaspa down to $3.33 cents. Ondu down to 28 cents. Sebek down. Like everything's down. Besides CC, which I'm not too surprised by. Once more, it is one that has been heavily backed by institutional stakeholders. That's why that's on our portfolio as one to look into. Power has come down significantly as well. The other assets we're looking into, everything is crumbling right now. You can probably tell from my tone of voice, I'm not worried by it. Don't be emotional, be logical. All I'm seeing right now is better entry zones and opportunities to make money through trading. You know, I've already made more money actually that I've lost in the beginning of this year already through the trades that we've done. Funnily enough, despite the turbulence, the stuff that we showcase, the information we post in the VIP is why I'm not worried about the market trends. I'm trying to get ahead of them. We're trying to get ahead of them. You've got all these developments of Kaspa. It lets you know that when the price comes back, it'll be a strong comeback. And you understand why the market's correcting right now, what's happening, this capitulation. I'll refresh Twitter to see if anything new has come out, but I don't think anything new has just come out to cause this correction besides just investors finally realizing what's happening. Nothing on my headline pointing out right now. Coinbase report joins banks at White House meeting. Okay. Yeah, nothing really of note as to why. Yeah. So yeah, there's nothing really has happened to cause, nothing more has happened, I should say, to cause this market pull up besides investors starting to realize government shutdown bad and they're just trying to liquidate the market, maybe in preparation for the markets to come back on Monday, or to send it further down. We don't know yet, but we'll be talking about that next week. Well, I'll talk about it a little bit tomorrow. I'll talk about it next week. Of course, I'll talk about my VIPs tomorrow at 3 p.m. UK time. If you want to tune in live time to that private roundtable and get access to all the institutional documents that we're going to be going through, once more, check out the VIP links down below in the description. Utilize the free trials while they're available because they won't be there forever. So get a 7-day free trial, no strings attached, or even a 1-month free trial through the steps in BYDFI. And then also getting, again, discounts through the trades we do in there as well. So you're saving more money and making more money at the same time. Market's dumping right now very hard. Yes, very, very hard. People are not happy with the government shutdown, which was, we warned about this for a week at least now. As early as possible, we had been warning about government shutdown happening. So we were prepared for this. If you weren't, then you need to do more research, I guess. The bank shutting down is probably maybe a bit of a shock to some people, but also understandable. And if you get this shutdown for government extending, you'll see more bank failures. And that will cause more headwinds, more uncertainty. That will probably impact Trump's re-election for the midterms as well, honestly speaking. So, he's in a tight spot right now, honestly, Mr. Trump. Activity, transactions, and hash rate will pump, price will follow. Yeah, more we see of this, the better it will be. You've got Cashback and IGRA both launching stablecoins. Like, it's going to be end of Q1 going into kind of Q2 2026 is going to be huge, at least in regards to developments for Kaspa. How the price act, we can only determine as time goes on, depending on the geopolitics at the time and even the macro, although more so geopolitics. Although going into Q2, that's when Jerome Powell start being on the way out. He leaves in May. The market might start making a little bit of a significant move in volatility just preemptively of that. Welcome back. Nakif. Interesting name. Welcome back, my man. That Pulsar player, Bitcoin right now, look at Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin is not doing so hot. Go to the 50-minute chart, we can see massive candles in the last 50 minutes. If you go a little bit closer, it's going to the 5-minute chart, we can see some massive liquidations going on right now. It's found a bit of support seemingly around the just around 81k, give or take. But I wouldn't be surprised to see Bitcoin maybe hold off in and around here. Maybe. But for me, I think, not financial advice, of course, but for me, I think it's very, very strong possibility Bitcoin comes back down to 80k, bottom down here. And then you might see Bitcoin hold 80k, given that it is a very strong level of support, which we can prove when looking at the chart right now. We can go here and we can see the times where Bitcoin has seen a lot of Support around 80k, or in and around this zone at least. Support there. You've seen an 80k rebound here. So 80k could be quite a big psychological zone as well. So I think you'll hold that potentially, maybe come a little bit below. And then Monday's verdict will determine whether the markets make a rebound or comes back further. Honestly, looking at the chart right now, I probably see 76 is like I've got zones here. 77, like as you can see, in rebounding to off this and this. And then you've got 76 being here as well. But I think you'll probably see a bit of, you might find a bit of support found at these zones here. As an intermediary zone, not a hard stop. You can see where the rebound here, the candle ended here, like the trending that ended there. Similarly here as well. So that will be a pretty around 78.5k will also be quite a strong zone there. But a shutdown extended again will bring the PTSD back of October 10th, and that might just cause Bitcoin to blow past that. Because that's only a 2% correction if you do reach 80k again, which is highly possible in my belief. So you might just see it blow past, following that Monday, coming down 2% or so. Or if it does come down, then you might see it blow past either way. But we'll have to wait and see. Of course, we can't predict the future. We can only act. We can make predictions, of course. We can try and predict the future, but we aren't. We haven't got a crystal ball. Just given all we could do is just give the conditions and what will happen. The conditions being the government shutdown averted on Monday, boom. Not averted, boom. Like it's up or down as anything. But at least we know what's going to cause that. DYX rallying again. Yeah, I'm also not too shocked. Although that is not moving right now because the market's closed. But it rallied yesterday because of the new Fed chair. That's why it rallied yesterday. It's partly due to oil as well, the belief of a potential breakout in Iran with the US again. That's part. So it's partly the war potential again, but it's also because of the new Fed chair, because he is historically perceived quite hawkish, someone who has focused on a very strong US economy, which is why people aren't so happy about that. That's why you saw gold and silver crash the way it did, 26% in silver, 9% in gold, and going into the dollar instead. Will it gap up, as you say, Kryptonia, and fill that? We'll have to wait and see how the markets act on Monday. It's possible. It's very, very possible. But if we get an actually, I think it's very likely. Although if the government shutdown extends, then maybe not. If the government shutdown extends, then it'll probably go back into gold or silver again. If it gets averted, then you probably see the dollar continue to go up a bit more. And be it more off, risk off, and more correction than crypto. There's certain catalysts we need to see for crypto for it to start doing well. No more geopolitical tensions or lack of thereof, and regulations. So that's what we've got to keep an eye out for. So I've got stuff we're going to talk about tomorrow. Every token is at the bottom. I think we'll be rallying next week or two. I would like to hope so, but I don't think so right now. Only because there's no clear sign of that. We are at the bottom for many assets, true, but we can still price lower. It's a sentiment and it's a psychological one at that, so you're not incorrect in thinking that as the perception of an investor or trader. But at the same time, people's focus right now isn't on market trends so much. It's on geopolitics impacting market trends. That's what it is. That's what it is, in all honesty. So as you see more outbreak between the Middle East, Greenland, and I'm not just I guess to also save my own skin, I'm not making an opinion myself on the verdicts of what US are doing. Middle East stuff, Greenland stuff, whether in the right or wrong, I'm not making a verdict on that. I am speaking from the perception of an investor who understands how markets move. This stuff does not do well. It sends markets down. It's uncertainty, it's fear, it is FUD, it is doubt. So if you see these sort of tensions continue to increase, be it damn what psychological zones there are, markets will push down more. The psychological zones are only good to help you find where levels of support may be, but if geopolitics continue to ramp up, they don't care about those zones. They'll continue crashing down until they feel like they're safe. IGRA on stables, does that mean Kaspa will have USDC on ETH or Kaspa itself? It means that you'll see USDC and USDT in these stablecoins being bridged onto IGRA Labs. So it's going to be on IGRA, so I guess by extension on Kaspa, but it's going to be bridged from an ETH. It's not coming from Circle and Tether themselves. It's not native. It's being bridged from Hyperlane, which is Ethereum based, but it's still, I mean, you can see it here. It's USDC, USDT.E, so it's like an ETH address type of thing, but it's going to be still on top of IGRA. So it's still going to be on top of Kaspa by extension, I guess. But it's still stablecoins on Kaspa, which in itself is good, because all you need to see to give the confidence that we're going to end up seeing more adoption and belief in Kaspa is the stablecoins on Kaspa and the volume and stuff that's coming through it, hopefully. But yeah, 76 is definitely on the cards right now, depending on how Monday pans out. Kaspa is just an unpopular chain to needle movers. This won't change when markets go up. Yeah, I disagree. Kaspa is in the exact same boat as every other asset. As I said at the very beginning, when I was replying to certain people in the comment section on YouTube, Kaspa started its correction. It's not been a bad 4 years. It's been a bad year and a half from this top at 20 cents. That's when it started being bad, a year and a half. And every other asset you look at in the space, they've also gone down significantly, if not more so than Kaspa. They just started 6 months later. They started December 2024, January 25 when they started correcting. Kaspa just started in August 2024, 6 months earlier. That's all it is. And they've all come down as much, if not more. You've seen the talks of KRI and the building of IGRA and Kasplex. Evidently, Kaspa's not that unpopular of a chain. Is it being utilized by the masses? No. Because it's not. But you have got people who are reaching out and utilizing Kaspa right now. Nobody cares about Kaspa DeFi just because it's bridges at the point. Everything needs to be native. But native, so you heard it from Ashton and Capital. Native's so expensive. Are you going to pay it? They got to have the pocket for that. And besides, native is also a very, very big voting confidence. The bridge in itself, bridging is fine. Bridging is perfectly fine. There's little to no difference between native and bridging. That's what if you want to find out more and understand more so about that, I highly recommend re-watching and listening to this Blockchain Banter AMA with me, Capital, Ja, and Ashton, where they explain the difference between a native and a bridge stablecoin. The clear difference between the two. Native does give a bit more vote of confidence, at least in my particular belief, but at the same time, it's a very, very expensive procedure. And are you going to be willing as Circle or Tether to put your reputation on the line to natively go onto a Kaspa when it's not been proven yet? No. See how the bridge works? If that's good, then we're like, you know what? Yeah, let's get involved. So I agree that native's better, but they're not too indifferent. It's not too different right now. People don't... Stablecoin in itself will be good. That's already going to be good. And we go back to this post again with Visa Mastercard saying that right now there's no... Seemingly, they're testing blockchain rails to find a blockchain that can, that is product market fit, that can be utilized for everyday payments. Right now, there's no blockchain that can do that. That should be a big wake-up call. Because we already got a lot of major chains out there. Ethereum, Tron, Solana, Sui, Hyperliquid, all these major chains. And these are Mastercard, Polygon. And these chains are saying, right now they're testing blockchains because nothing they've used is product market fit for everyday payments and stablecoins. They probably haven't used Kaspa yet. But if they haven't found anything that works right now, that means Kaspa is still very much got time to prove itself, given the infrastructure stuff coming out, and now you've got stablecoins coming on board the next 2 months or so. That's great for me, in honesty. And yeah, no, I did hear about that as well. I won't talk on too much because it's on stream and that can get me banned, but yeah. Opening smaller margin position on XRP, go to short to 0.68. You think XRP is going to shoot down to 68 cents? Hui vey. That would be a feat. 68 cents XRP. I mean, there is definitely a level of support down there, but I would be very shocked to see XRP come back down that far again. Not saying it's impossible. Weirder things have happened, especially if we do go through a potential capitulation in the market with, you know, Bitcoin crashing down more so because of all the FUD, yeah. If we get a government shutdown extended, then yeah, but that'd be a interesting ordeal. If you think everything will go lower for coming weeks, you still hold a bag or rather sell back by letter. Completely down to you, Devious. I'm not a financial advisor. You got to do your own research and trade at your own discretion. I have mentioned it already in this stream. Back when you had this whole situation when you lost 98k, I mentioned it back here. When you lost 98k, I sold a lot of my assets, a lot of my holdings. Didn't sell any Kaspa. I still hold my Kaspa. I'm hold my KYC 20s, but I sold pretty much everything else I held and had just stablecoins and Kaspa. And then some other assets that I talked to my VIPs about, like AI stuff. Then since this position here, I started getting back into some of them, albeit not too much. Showcase some of the assets I've looked to, my VIPs, the AI stuff we looked into. Now with the market in the position it's in right now, apart besides just DCing a little bit to Kaspa here and there, I'm not getting into anything else right now. I'm holding stables. I'm using that money from the stables to trade, to make gains, to build that bag more so when the market does find that bottom, or closer to a bottom, because you can't really ever call a bottom, but when you get to that stage, then I'll start DCAing back in again. So me personally, I'm not selling anything that I'm currently holding. I already sold a lot of it off anyways. I'm not selling anything else I'm holding. I'm just going to DCA when I think the time is right and just trade. But if you want to sell to preserve some form of capital and buy back later, that's completely down to you. I'll be quick chat. Welcome back, Nate. It's been a minute. Depends. Monday will be a make or break day. Monday will be make or break day. We could see more downside over this weekend, most definitely, and then Monday will be make or break. Or if we continue going down, or we find some stability, if you will. Cooks, lol, don't trip by the dip. I mean, if you have the capital to do that, bro, then go for it. You know, I'm by all means go for it. I'm still under the impression, based on all the research that I have done and the documentation that I have showcased publicly and even hundreds or more privately, that this year is still going to be a big year, given the developments that are going to be coming out that are catalysts for crypto. This being one of them for PwC. But we need to see how geopolitics really impacts the market. This by no means for me is an indicative sign that the 4-year cycle was real, because I don't think that's the case at all. Because the things that matter the business cycle, we're still not expanding just yet. M2 is still at all-time highs, but we're still not expanding right now. Look at that massive jump in the M2 money supply. We have more money than ever in the general economy, in the whole world economy, but it's not going to risk on right now because people are not happy with the current state of the whole financial markets. Japan yen carry trade is being completely unwound right now. America's geopolitics is also causing a lot of uncertainty. Europe's doing all these funny things as well. Everyone is doing stupid stuff right now. No one knows where to put their money besides gold and silver, hence why you saw such a sharp rally in such a short amount of time. It's just what's happening. We can see more downside, but we'll find some form of foundation and bottom, and then we can decide where to go from there. If you want to find out more, shameless, but I say it, if you want to find out more, get ahead of the markets, know how markets move, predict market trends, and then make gains through these market conditions, like the trades we made with Kaspa already making 200+% gains and more. Come check out the VIP. You've got free trials. So utilize the 7-day free trial, and if you sign up through BYDFI, our affiliated exchange, and you go to the Get VIP Access channel right here, follow the steps right here, you will not just get a potential for a 1-month free trial to the VIP, just send me a message once you do that, but you also can get 70% discount on future trading fees, so you can end up saving money while you're doing trades that we're doing the VIP and making these sort of gains. That's just one of many that we got in there. So you want to find out more, get ahead of the market trends, get the institutional research as well, documentation like this in a lot more detailed rundown with the sources they're provided. Check out the VIP. Links are down below in the description. Welcome, Tony. You're doing very, very well. How low Kaspa is going, if you have any idea? Good question. As you can see from my zone, I have anticipated a possibility that Kaspa could come down as low as 0.0275. That is based on the fact that if you go really close here, you can see that's where you saw a lot of support and or resistance for Kaspa around this zone. So I think that's a possibility. You see Kaspa reach down there if you see more headwinds. But it does depend, You have got zones, but like right now we're hitting at this zone. Right now you can see where this dotted red line is, we're currently hovering around here. And you can see there have been periods of support and or resistance for Kaspa around these zones here as well. So we could hold here, provided we don't get too many more headwinds. But it does very much depend right now on the market shutdown, the government shutdown, more bank closures, Bitcoin, the whole thing. We could go down here, we could go down even a little bit further. What I will do as we continue throughout the market trend, I'll provide more support zones based on what I analyze from the markets. And then we talk about if it's a possibility or not. But right now, it does very much depend on the United States government. I want to DCA. You think some limit orders are good? Where would you place them approximately? Welcome, Julian. You're doing very well. So as I kind of just already answered, I guess, from Tony. Of course, reiterating, not a financial advisor. Always do your own research and trade at your own discretion. But this here is my bottom right now. The bottom support that I put in for Kaspa. I can see that this right now does be a level of support for Kaspa. Can we go down lower from here? Could be a good possibility, depending on Bitcoin. If we go down to 80k Bitcoin, then yes, we'll probably go down lower. I think you can see some levels around 3 cents. Also see some around 2.7 cents, so 0.03 or 0.027. There's even some at 0.025 and so on and so forth. I will provide more zones as we start going down more, if we go down more. I also will be providing these zones tomorrow. I say me, myself and our experienced trader C Crypto, who's in the VIP, will be providing these zones to the VIPs tomorrow and our roundtable as well. So I'll be able to give some insight on that as well, based on his insight as well. But whether you do limit orders or not is completely down to you. Right now, I'm not putting too much more in the prediction that we can go down further. So I want to hold off and try and get a lower entry, basically. And this weekend, I think this weekend you can see more downside. You could see more downside this weekend. And then Monday will be Monday, if we end up getting government shutdown over, great. I'm like, cool, I'll put an entry in here. Now, I like playing reactionary to the markets, typically speaking. I have more confidence when I have more control of it, as opposed to putting a limit and it hits it by accident, be it for long, short, or sell. We went back to 3 cents. Yes, yeah, we spoke about it Dimitar as well. We said that 3 cents was very much on the cards, very, very much on the cards. And we could come a little bit lower. Have to wait and see. Are there plans to be stable on Kaspa itself, like ETH, ZND, BNB has? Well, there are always plans. There have always been intentions to have Kaspa to have native stablecoins on board. When is the question that we don't know. Kaspa's still got a lot of... right now, Kaspa's focus is not native stablecoins. Its focus is Covenants, VPROX, Diagonite. The things that give Kaspa a lot more solid foundation infrastructure to be utilized more, becoming more well-complete, solid layer 1. Because stablecoins coming on board through IGRA and cashback is fantastic. That'll bring more adoption, more than likely. But there are plans to have stablecoins on board. It's just not in their first immediate thought process. We've got stables coming. That in itself is great. We should be happy with that. You can listen to this clip, a spliced up clip of Ash telling Kaspador confirming stablecoins coming, and then you've got the proof here with USDC, with Casplex, which I already showed this image as well. Casplex bridging to Ethereum and Binance Smart Chain with USDC. You've got IGRA here as well, doing this stuff as well. So it's fantastic news seeing this, and will hopefully be a good adoption catalyst of Kaspa when the time's right. I feel like we're currently in max pain. I say that Dems and Republicans can come to a compromise and keep the government from shutting down, and we pumped into Monday. Well, there has been a compromise. That's what we spoke about yesterday. If you're part of the Discord server, you would have seen this post that I posted in the Discord community here, which is forwarded from my executive chat, because I posted it to the VIPs and I was like, you know what? This is something that I should also share publicly as well. You can see I usually keep this stuff exclusive to the VIP community, but the shutdown update is too important to not share with you all here, so I did it. I'll do that occasionally because I think it's worthwhile, and you can learn these updates in real time in the VIP as well, of course. But as we broke it down yesterday, there has been an agreement already to end the government shutdown, but they don't meet until Monday. And we have to hope that this vote does go through, which the decision has been that ICE agents must have body cameras and must not wear masks. That's currently the agreement that's been decided upon. We'll see how it pans out tomorrow. If Republicans say no last minute or Democrats say no last minute, then there'll be a government shutdown for longer. And that's not ideal because that then leads to more macro reports going missing and a whole other elements of pain, right? So, but I'll keep you all updated. I'll talk about it more tomorrow with the market updates as well. Bitcoin's lowest point was in the range of 70 to 60k, after which the price rose to a high point, indicating a bullish trend. Yeah, we did see that. Again, we saw it in the 2021 cycle. We did see Bitcoin come back 55%. So while we are currently down 35% from all-time highs, we did see in the last cycle, Bitcoin come down 55%. So I'm not saying the same exact conditions, but point being is this market is very, very different. I don't think we're in a 4-year cycle. I think what's happening right now is causing a lot of uncertainty and max pain. And we can see more downside, but I don't think it's a confirmed bear cycle just yet. Maybe I'm being ignorant to that fact, but I'm not saying that because I believe it. Well, I am, but I'm not saying it because, trust me, bro, I'm saying that because I am doing my research. I'm looking at what these institutions are publicizing private confidential documents to their enterprise clients where they're talking about these developments. And this in itself is big. When you combine this other research we've done in there, you see these institutes are talking about one of the biggest catalysts. Let me load it up. Signum Bank. How far down do I have to go to find it? No. That one, yes. So a little snippet here. This is a document I've already posted to VIP as well. In this paper, this came out, I believe, December, so a month ago now. And in this report, it publishes a lot of very important things. It's a whole, research deep dive, what they want to do, yada yada yada. This is the most important part, though. Not this part even. It's actually in here. What are your primary reasons for not investing in crypto assets? The number one is regulatory uncertainty. This is a enterprise research document, exclusive, that Signal Bank's done when interviewing many other institutions and banks and whatnot, and they are saying they don't get into crypto because they don't feel like they've got regulations. So when you see this then from PwC, you're like, oh, MiCA regulations are going to be fully enforced to end our transition period in June. That's regulatory clarity. That's a big, big hurdle then gone away. That could correlate to institutional investments. Of course, if there's still a lot of geopolitical tensions, you may not see as much as you expect, but this is going to be a big, big deal. Hopefully see the Clarity Act come through as well. More developments and foundation built for the Genius Bill. That's already been enforced, but it'll be fully implemented in 2027 as well. So premise being is we still have got a lot of... The reason why I think extended cycle is still possible and 2026 can still be big is based on my institutional research stuff that I post occasionally publicly, but also the hundreds and hundreds of documents and interviews that we post to the VIP. Some are public knowledge that you can find, but people don't know how to do the research. Like there are interviews on YouTube that have 30 views. No one's listening to them, but they're talking about it. And then you've got confidential documents that shouldn't be made public, that institutions have, that I've got a hold of because I know how to do the research and find it, and I post it to the VIPs, where you can find out what the institutes are talking about, what they're preparing behind the closed doors. We spoke about this other document as well from Dow Jones. I was about to wrap up today's stream, where Dow Jones are talking about that this cycle will be different. It's not going to be hype and FOMO. Markets demand accountability. Right now, there's no accountability, as there's social uncertainty. Market demand accountability, proof, evidence, and demonstration that crypto serves real economic needs. Going back to the document here. Right now, Visa and MasterCard don't find that stablecoins and crypto and blockchain serve these economic needs they're trying to look for. They're trying to find one that can do that. That's why Kaspa for me could do that. Potentially, of course. My belief, not financial advice. For that being said, family, times are looking tough, but don't be emotional. Be logical. You can learn more in the free Discord server. You got some very, very passionate people in there who are doing their research constantly. Cody, one of my mods in there, has been fantastic. Greg, shout out to you as well, fantastic. Doing your analysis, your breakdowns, providing a lot of insight to the free community as well. Mr. Mars, on occasion when he's actually here, but he's a bit busy right now. And even Krypton, who's done fantastic in the mod section for YouTube as well, helping out. You've done fantastic jobs helping with some clarity to the space. And then the VIP, you've got myself, you've got Crypto, you've got our traders in there who are also providing more insight, navigating this markets to get ahead of the trends, to understand how this market is moving. If you want to find out more, tune into the daily live streams, the YouTube channel, the free Discord server, and learn a lot more in the VIP as well, through trading, through research, and everything else. The free trials are available. Utilize them while they're still there. That being said, family, if you enjoyed today's stream, prepare for what's to come tomorrow, Monday, then leave a like. Helps me out more than you know. Share with your friends and subscribe for more. That being said, have a great day, good evening, and good night, family.